A career in care can be one of the most rewarding jobs that you can do, but it will also be incredibly challenging. Today, I'm at South Africa Lodge, one of Cornerstone Healthcare's complex care services, to talk to Chris, who's one of our senior carers, about what it's really like to work as a care assistant in a complex care home. So, hello, Chris.
Hello.
Thank you so much for doing this.
That's all right.
Really, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today about this. So we're trying to help people who might be thinking about coming to work in complex care and coming to work at one of Cornerstone's services to help them understand what it really feels like to be a care assistant or a senior care assistant and what the job is like day to day. So would you be able to just tell us a little bit about you and how long you've been here at South Africa Lodge and how you came to first work in care?
So I've been here for about 8 years now. I had to have support myself a few years ago, just before I started working care, and then I wanted to just give back. So I saw that it was complex care here, and I felt like I was ready for a challenge. That challenge is still every day.
Yep.
But it's I wouldn't change it for the world. It's one of the most rewarding jobs.
And can you remember back to your first shift or your first week, given that you hadn't worked in care before? Thinking back to my own time as a care assistant, it can be incredibly overwhelming and quite scary, and you can feel quite out of your depth. How did it feel for you in those first few weeks?
So it was a real shock. I was fortunate. I had a very good team with me. There's a real sense of community. I'd say after my first few shifts, I almost felt like I didn't want to come back because it just felt really overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was really, really sad at points, very challenging. I was questioning whether I'm the right person to be here. It's something that is quite a taboo subject, I think, across the board, not just in care, but just across the UK. And that's what we deal with here.
Yeah.
There's people that a lot of people might be afraid of or might be worried about, but we tackle that.
Yeah.
But that really was daunting to me at the start.
Yeah.
And I almost didn't want to be here. But I persisted, thankfully, with a team that supported me behind. They helped me with all my training. And then eventually I just started waking up and not dreading it, if that makes sense.
So as much as there was that kind of feeling of being worried or scared, there must have been an equal balance of something pulling you back, which I think is the magic of care. And actually, once you work in care, you know what that feels like. But what would you say to somebody thinking about coming here that might think, oh gosh, well, that's enough to put me off to start with? What's the other side of that? What's the reward side of it that actually means that here you are 8 years on?
I'd say for me, the reward is always seeing the residents at the end of the day, seeing the care that you've been able to give them throughout the day and how that's managed to get them into a better place. Speaking to the relatives as well and how grateful they are towards what we do here.
Yeah.
And I've had it before where we've had relatives come in and they've said, like, South Africa Lodge has managed to give them back their mum or their dad or their sibling.
Yeah.
And that to me is what I always will take around now.
Absolutely. Now, I think if there's one thing we know is there's no such thing as a typical day. But can you talk to us about what does a day look like or a shift look like? I know there are certain things that mark out some structure within the day, and then everything else in between, varies. But give us an overview.
So I'll come in and I'll just get the list of who's working on shift with me today. Then I'll go around and just do a general check of all the residents with one of the night staff and a bit of a handover. We'll start preparing for breakfast and then we'll have a nurse's handover where we get all the ins and outs of what's happened in the last 24 hours. Then we'll start to assist the residents with their breakfast if they're ready to, or if someone wants to get up now or they want some help. We'll do that for them. Then we'll try and after breakfast, once everyone's up and ready, we'll engage them with some activities. Quite a few of the residents that we support here, they go out into the community, so a lot of them like to go for a morning coffee. Then we'll prepare for lunch. we've got a nice dining experience here where they all sit up at the tables, and it's a real sense of like a community. Following that, we'll then do more activities in the afternoon. Again, both residents will go out and then get ready for dinner. And then just kind of get settled for night. They really like to watch a film here in the evening, little like movie experience for them.
Yeah, that sounds really nice. And what are some of the core responsibilities that you have as a senior? And then also talk to us a little bit about the core responsibilities of the healthcare assistants that you'd be working with.
So for me, I will do all the allocation for the day. So we have residents here on one-to-ones. They need to have a carer with them. So I'll allocate who's with them and what times, ensure all of the breaks are done, assist the nurse with anything that she may need. Resident of the day, so every day here there'll be a resident of the day. Part of my responsibility will be to check their care plans, do their observations, make sure that everything's okay, feedback any changes to the nurse who can then update the care plan. And then also I'm kind of the front of house for the relatives to kind of come to if they have any concerns or any worries that they just want to go over, then we can sit down and do that.
Yep.
And then I'll assist the nurses and the management with doing supervisions as well.
Okay. And how does that differ to what healthcare assistants would be doing?
So they will come in and they'll read the allocation where they've kind of been set for that period of time. They'll assist the residents with their personal care. Any needs that they may have, make sure that they've got food and drink that's their choice that they want to have. Get them ready, support them with access to the community, and just help support me and the nurse with keeping it all running.
Going. Yeah. And so that we make it really clear for people in terms of the actual core work of a healthcare assistant, that involves very intimate personal care.
Yes.
So that will involve helping somebody to have a wash, be that a shower or a bath, or if they're not able to do that, then that will be a wash in the bed or however that needs to take place. Helping people to eat and drink, including feeding them. I think, are there any other things that you think we should explicitly explain that are part of the role that might surprise people or people might not realise are included in the role of a healthcare assistant?
So typically a lot of our residents here will need assistance with varying degrees. There is a large portion of residents here that require they're fully dependent on carers assisting them with their care needs. So that will be anything from a shower to changing any incontinence aids. Due to the complex needs of our residents here, some aren't always cooperative. So we will use things like retreat and return, change of face. There is also a level of a best interest decision that will come into place. So if we have a resident who might have sores on them, they have declined throughout the day, then we might have to use best interest decision to support them. So that will involve a team of carers that will go in. We have training here, which is, we call it nappy, which will have to go in and use a level of restraint if needed. We always try and do the least restrictive, and this is always kind of the last resort. But unfortunately, it does happen because a lot of our residents are that complex.
And nappy is a nationally recognised and accredited programme that many care providers use. Can you just explain a little bit more about what it means and what that is in practice?
So nappy is something that we'll use to safely be able to either escort a resident or to get them into a safe position so we can deliver care. The documentation with it is quite thorough. You need to explain everything involved, so who was there, how long it took, how long a restraint might have been used, the aftermath and the emotional support that you give after as well.
Debrief.
And then a team debrief after.
And I think that's important to talk about, isn't it? Because when we were talking earlier about some aspects of the role maybe being more challenging or more difficult because of the types of people that we care for here, that sometimes is a necessary part of risk management and their care plan, but that's all done in an absolutely planned out way. And all of the care team receive training in how to do that safely, and it just forms part of the way that care is delivered here at Cornerstone, and indeed in many other healthcare settings where they work with people who have complex needs.
Yeah, it's always done in the least restrictive way that we can.
Yeah.
Last case scenario.
Yeah.
And we try everything that we can in between.
Yeah. And it's about keeping everyone safe.
Yes, definitely.
How would you describe your relationship with residents?
If you had asked me this when I first started, terrible.
Okay, why would you say that?
Because there's this kind of awkwardness at first where you don't really know what to say. You don't know how to approach them. It takes a while to really get to know them because they're all so different.
Yeah.
That's why I really like the person-centered approach here, because you need to go in with that mindset. As I've gotten, my skills have improved with learning that approach. I feel like I get on quite well with the residents here. I can kind of pick up any triggers and a lot quicker than I used to.
Yeah.
Having said that, though, everyone is different. You don't always get it 100% right.
Yeah.
Which is just the reality.
None of us do. We're human beings. Yeah.
But I think that a lot of the residents that we care for here a lot of them have done a bit of a 180 from when they first arrived to now. So a lot of them, when they come here, they can be very challenging, very complex. A lot of them are quite confused and disorientated. With time, with the right care and familiar faces that are looking after them, they kind of build a rapport.
Yep.
And we can learn how to best manage that person.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about this a little bit, but what would you say is special about supporting residents who are living with complex needs compared to perhaps a general nursing home that is not set up for people with more complex needs? For somebody that's thinking about coming to work for us that maybe has been in that setting, how would we describe this in terms of what makes it different?
I'd say that a lot of our residents are very vulnerable. So they come here kind of needing an awful lot of support, and when you're able to give that to them and you see their reaction to it, and they kind of, a lot of them will then start kind of taking over what you were trying to help them with.
Yeah.
And you kind of, it's like a spark in them ignites, which is really nice to see. And it's kind of like, we get it a lot when families will come in and they'll make a comment about how like it's like their mum's come back.
Okay.
There was one lady in particular who came here. She was very challenging. She's moved from her last placement because she got hold of a fire extinguisher and set it off at all the staff.
Okay. Yeah.
So she was definitely a character.
Yeah.
And her family really felt like they'd lost her, and then she came here, and after a few weeks and she got settled, and one of her grandsons had come in who hadn't seen her for several months.
Okay.
And he left here saying that his grandma had come back.
That's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. And that really kind of reinforces the importance of the work that you and the team here
definitely.
do. And when people exhibit a behaviour like the fire extinguisher, as we know and as you come to learn, it's always rooted in something that's happening within the person. It's either a frustration or a communication of a sort coming out, even if it's an aggressive exhibition of a behaviour. It's because something inside is wrong. They're unsettled, they're anxious, they're unhappy. So seeing that change in somebody is really lovely. So that definitely, yeah.
As time will go on as well, because when you first kind of start here, you are such in a bubble that you start questioning, how am I going to pick up when that's going to happen? And over time, you won't always be able to pick up, but you will start to pick up things. Yep. And it's also about trusting yourself, trusting your instincts.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll see it where people will have that hesitation.
Yeah.
But you just need to trust it, and we're always open and honest here, and we always try and do the best that we can.
Yeah, absolutely. It's having that confidence in yourself, isn't it? Which, as you say, takes time to build up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think? What are the skills that make a successful healthcare assistant?
Someone who could be resilient, can be honest and open.
Yeah.
Someone who someone who is able to kind of work well within a team and kind of manage a lot of different personalities, not just within the residents, but also within your own team.
Yeah.
Someone who's willing to learn and be knowledgeable, because you definitely need an element of knowledge. When I first started, I think I underestimated that a lot. And then as my career's progressed and I've learned more things,
Yes.
Which has actually been really rewarding, and it's helped me a lot, not just within here, but also like within my own personal life, and
Brilliant.
learning more about myself, and having that understanding of knowing when you need a break as well.
Yes, really important, that self-awareness.
Yeah.
Can you think of a time or a couple of times when teamwork made a big difference to your day? I think you talked at the start about how important that was in the early days of being a carer here. But is there anything that stands out about why teamwork really helps when the job's tough?
So the unfortunate reality is that sometimes our residents will reach the end of their life, and they'll go through their end of life care here. So we've had it before. There was a gentleman that I used to look after who, very intelligent man, used to love playing the guitar. And when he reached the end point of his life, one of the senior healthcare assistants from another lodge came over, and she could play the guitar. And she went in there and she spent about an hour with him just playing. It was really magical, and it was just that sense of teamwork. And then also when we've got residents that go into hospital, we'll send, if we can spare someone, we will send someone to support the lodge that might have had to send a carer with the residents gone into hospital.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the end of life care here, everyone kind of just bands together. So there's a lot of support. If something kind of critical happens, then there will always be people that will come up and just say, "You guys okay? Do you need anyone? Do you need anything? Do you need 5 minutes?"
Yeah.
There's always someone available to help you.
Yeah. And that's really important, isn't it? And have you been with someone at the end of their life?
Yes, I'm very passionate with end of life care. So for me, it's a privilege to be with someone at the end of their life. I think it's, this person's got a whole history, and you get to be there with them at the end and give them the dignity that they deserve. And there's quite a few people that I've sat with, and I've sat with a lady who'd been here for over 20 years, and to kind of be there at the end with her and give her a hand to hold and just let her know that she wasn't on her own was just something that I'll take to my own grave with me.
Yeah. No, well, thank you for doing that, because that is beautiful. And I think the whole concept of we're human beings and we're all connected to each other as a community, to be able to do that, as you say, is a privilege. And, that really is also, to me, real leadership. Having the courage to stay in the room and be with somebody as that happens, I think is a really great example of outstanding care. So thank you.
That's okay. It's a privilege.
What keeps you going on really tough days when you think, that's it, I'm writing that notice letter tonight? What makes you stay here?
It's the fact that the next day is not necessarily going to be the same. It's this, and the sense of community here, and the responsibility. I feel like I've got a responsibility to be here as well.
Yep.
Which you kind of go home and think, if I leave now, what will happen with this and with that and with this?
Yeah.
So for me personally, it's kind of the ethical side of it that keeps me here as well.
Okay.
And going back to no day's the same.
Yeah.
So I've had lots of bad days here, but I've had lots of brilliant days here. Yeah. And I've never had them in a batch. So it's not a batch of bad days and a batch of good days. They're all mixed in together.
Yeah. It's an ever evolving rhythm. And you are one of the academy members. So you're part of the Cornerstone Academy, and you're on a program at the moment. How has that been? And tell us a little bit about what that's felt like, and a little bit about the project that you're doing.
At first, when we had our induction to it, I was a bit pessimistic about it.
Okay, why is that?
Purely because I couldn't see the vision at the time for it. We'd had previous experiences where things hadn't worked out with the training, or it just didn't seem relevant to what we do. Having actually gone through it and currently still going through it at the moment, it's completely changed my perspective.
Okay.
Tracy's been brilliant.
Yep.
It's been a real learning curve. I've learned a lot about myself.
Okay.
And about the kind of the group that I'm with as well. I think we've all learned a lot about each other and a newfound kind of respect towards each other.
Yep.
My knowledge has definitely improved. I've got a project which I'm working on, which is the communication with relatives, which has been eye-opening, but it's given me a real new depth and understanding towards the relatives here.
Okay.
And appreciation to actually, they entrust us with an awful lot.
Yep.
And how vital it is for honest and open communication with them.
Yep. Absolutely. I'm glad that you've had such a positive experience. And I think, when you've completed your project and you get to the end of the programme, we're looking forward to celebrating that and seeing what we can then learn and use across the organisation in terms of that communication with families. So it's really valuable work. So again, thank you for doing that.
That's all right.
So just a few more questions, if I could. So what is the one thing you wish people understood better about what we do here?
I think there's a bit of a stigma in social care, health and social care.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, especially from maybe a public perspective of it, is it is sitting down with a cup of tea with a sweet lady who you're just watching Countdown with.
Yeah.
That's not the reality here, unfortunately. We try to assist the residents with all of their care needs that they need.
Yeah.
And that can be challenging, and it could be tiring, and it could be exhausting. But the reward, if you have that heart, the reward at the end, it is worth it, 100%.
Yeah. And what would you say to anyone who's thinking of applying to come work here as a care assistant?
I'd say go in with an open mind and give it a go.
Yeah.
It may not be for you, but I don't think that you should take that as a negative thing after. If you can always say you've given it a go, and we need people that can be brave. And I think that you need to be brave in this job, and you need to take a leap of faith sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to be here.
Yeah.
So the first one to do is to give it a go.
Yeah. And knowing what you know now 8 years on, what would you say to Chris, who started here 8 years ago on day one?
I would probably tell him to do some more revision.
Okay.
And
you can be nicer to him.
I'd say that to keep going, just to stick at it, and don't bottle things up. It's okay to talk. It's okay to open up with your colleagues, with your line manager, with whoever you need to. And I'm quite proud of the journey that I've had, so that I'm proud of them.
Yeah, good. And so you should be. Chris, you're an absolute credit to this organisation. It's people like you that are really the heartbeat of the service and, make everything that we do possible. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. I'm really grateful.
Okay.
I'm really proud that you work here. Thank you for everything that you do. You're an amazing carer.
Thank you.